All right, it is time for pre-market prep at the close.
Three consecutive highs, opened, matched yesterday's low, and then once it took out there, that's all the breakout momentum traders needed.
Good afternoon, Zinger Nation. Welcome to pre-market prep at the close. Spencer Israel, Money Mitch Hodge, wrapping up the day with you here. The last half hour of the session. We have had a busy day. We, of course, have more earnings to come after the close. We have Robinhood IPO. Finally, we got other IPOs. We got other IPOs today, too, we should probably talk about. We had a cool interview on the Power Hour today. But Mitch, what are you watching right now? What's on your radar?
Hey, there's a lot of things moving. I didn't know enough coal stocks. Coal moved today, man. Do you even know coal stock?
I don't know a single coal stock. No.
I felt the same way. I had to tell myself, man, you don't know a single coal stock, Mitch.
I know. I don't know a single. I could probably guess a coal ETF, like ticker, but I don't. Maybe. Let me see. I wonder if I wonder if coal. I wonder if the word. I bet you the word coal is an ETF. No, it's not. I don't know. I don't know a single coal stock. What are you talking about? Like give me one.
SXC, SunCoke Energy.
Okay. SXC. Where's my pro? SXC. This is not one I'm familiar with. Uh-oh.
I didn't know it either. Look at that.
Well, that's here. Whoa! What is there a reason? There must have been some.
I don't understand, but coal is.
Oh, they had earnings. They had earnings this morning.
Coal's kicking butt, man. There's a lot of them though. You can look at CEIX.
Okay.
That one did 12%. You have AMR that did 9%.
Okay.
And BTU with a 7% move. And there's a couple more.
Peabody. Peabody is the one that I've heard of.
There you go. Someone Hex knew BTU. I honestly didn't know any. So you guys out there, if you knew a coal stock, you knew something that Spencer and Mitch.
Well, I have heard of Peabody. I couldn't recall it, but I've heard. I hadn't heard of the other three you just mentioned. So nice call out there. Let's pop on over to my scanner and keep an eye on what's moving today. Maybe we should just start with the hood thing because it is kind of the story of the day. In markets, traded lower off its IPO, bounced decidedly mid-range on the day, sort of the middle of its range. Not really, because the high is what, 40? The high was 40. Yeah, 40 and a quarter. And the low of the day is 33, 35.
The bid, I think, on Robinhood this morning was 38. So,
well, yeah, that was the opening. That was the IPO price. That was the opening price and the IPO price. Typically, not a super encouraging sign when you open at a $0 premium to your IPO. You always see those headlines like insert company here pops on IPO. Well, the pop is always the IPO price compared to the opening price. It pops on the open. Very often you see those. I found those headlines very misleading because you could have a stock trade down pretty much straight down from its opening price, but as long as it popped, I put that in quotes, popped from its IPO, you get those headlines, and I think it's very misleading. In this case, it opened at the IPO price, so $0 premium priced in at the open, which is typically not a great sign. I recall that happened, I believe, to Blue Apron when they IPO'd a few years ago as well, and that thing just went straight down pretty much from the opening print onward. And so it's interesting. I think we're a bit in uncharted waters here because so many retail traders got allocations who are now locked up for a month. So I almost want to just, as much as I want to watch it, I almost want to just put it away for a month and come back in 30 days and see what happens, because that's when people have their lockup expiration. So it's interesting. I didn't know what to expect. I had no expectations. If you could have convinced me it would go up 20%. You could have convinced me it would go down 20%. I really didn't know what to make of this. So what we have is what we have. I don't know.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, hey, I'll just put the hood up and kind of watch it. That's it.
Yeah. So let's see. Let's do this. Let's watch hood and let's compare it to one that I like, right? SoFi today down
You
one.
can add one more on there. Add FCTV.
Okay, this is
Mr. eToro.
this is eToro. So if we're gonna add, well, let's see. Wait, what? No.
FCTV or STCV. That's what it is.
FTCV, right?
Yeah,
And while we're at it, I guess we'll just add Coinbase since we're there.
there you go.
Okay.
Interesting chart there.
Yeah. Anyway, so you know what the big thing about Robinhood? This is not for today, but going forward, because it is at its core an app, a rule of thumb I like to always have for companies whose main product is an app is if they have an app, look at active users. That applies across the board. That applies to Robinhood. That applies to Facebook. That applies to like Tinder. If the main product is an app, I always watch for active user growth. That's the rule that I apply to everything. So I'll be watching this one down the line when they report earnings. Next time after that, next few cycles to see what they say around the daily and monthly active user growth. Because in some respects, this is. It's obviously like a brokerage, but in other respects, it's really like a social media platform in a way, right? In terms of how people use it. So,
that's interesting that I feel like it showed that coin had a higher correlation than the other two.
One day is impossible to tell.
Just more along, just saying, at least from today, from that chart there.
Okay, let's look at Amazon here briefly. They do report earnings after the close today. We will be streaming that conference call, which is scheduled for 5:30 right here.
Does Amazon ever miss, Spencer?
No. Let's go back to the calendar. No, look. They literally never miss. They actually refresh this, but they basically never miss. So no, they don't miss. We know expectations are high, obviously. But let's see what Facebook did today, and hopefully they can maybe give us some context. I saw that Wayfair had warned. There was some Wayfair came out with some, I guess they lowered guidance or something because everyone's trying to lower the bar now going forward, right? They're trying to tell everyone, look, it's not going to be as crazy of a year as it was, last year. So Facebook opened at. Did it open at the high today? I think it did. No, it didn't open at the high, but it made a high off the open. And then, okay, so found a bottom in Facebook. How has Apple held up since its report? It's held up, right? It's held up. It stopped going down for the moment. What about Microsoft? Came back. It had that crazy, after hours action and has sort of held steady. And then Google is the last one. Has this one stopped? Yeah, okay. So they've all sort of just hung out here. Well, let me do this. This is a platform I use every so often. I won't bring it up on my screen, but I'll show you some data. This is just a free publicity for marketchameleon.com. Is a site that I like to use during earnings season because they have historical reaction patterns as it relates to earnings. So if I go on here and I just search for what are we looking at? Amazon? I'm looking at Amazon here. I'll bring the chart up back so we can look at that together. If I go to marketchameleon.com and I go look at Amazon and I go look at earnings, historical patterns, and I will tell you, going back the last 3 years, Amazon is. Oh, this is interesting. So it's it's twice as likely to trade down the day after its report than it is to trade up. Screw it. I'll just share my screen and show you what I'm looking at, and I'll have to zoom way the hell in because there's a lot of numbers here. So bear with me 1 second. But here we go. Yeah. How do I scroll? There we go. Okay. After earnings, this is where I am. Right, my mouse. If you can see it, after earnings, 1 day, 2 days. Okay. Going back the last 3 years, so the last 12 reports, Amazon trades down by an average of 1.1% in the one trading day after it reports. You can see here for every occurrence where it's traded higher, it's traded lower twice. Okay, it's a 50-50 split 2 days after the report, right? And then once you get a little further out, 3 days out, 1 week out, 2 weeks out, it's a little bit more likely to trade higher than it is to trade lower. But what this tells me is really lack of trend. You can see last quarter what happened. This is the most recent report. So last quarter, Amazon traded down in the days and weeks following its report. So that's our most recent precedent here. But something to keep in mind here: Amazon more likely than not to trade down in the 1 day and 2 day periods after, actually in the 1 day, 2 day, and 3 day periods after its report. Back to the chart here. Let's get that table off and go back to the Pro and see what the stock is doing today. Okay. So we're in the red. We're in the red on the day when the NASDAQ is in the green. That's interesting. And yes, this is the first report without Jeff Bezos at the helm. Not that makes a difference because he was CEO for most of the last quarter. So whatever. On the earnings front, I don't know if you have any comments on that, Mitch. We're also looking for Twilio tonight, Pinterest tonight, U.S. Steel tonight, First Solar tonight, Gilead. Those are kind of the big ones. Tomorrow morning is notable for energy. We got Exxon, we got Chevron, and Caterpillar rounding out in the week. Those are kind of the big, and Procter & Gamble tomorrow. So 2 big energy plays plus Caterpillar and Procter & Gamble tomorrow morning. Any of those jump out to you?
Well, U.S. Steel being up today and steel being up could have been something like a buying into that move. I did see that. Alcoa also.
Yeah, I saw somebody mention Alcoa in chat.
Yeah, they're both doing pretty well right now. I mean, when you looked at it overall, I mean, it was kind of these materials that were doing well today. So not a bad one there. Not a bad one to think about playing into the earnings. I wouldn't play many stocks into earnings, but we'll see how those kind of react tomorrow. At least positive sentiment going into it.
Hey, you know who's having a good day?
Who's having one?
Mr. Tesla.
Yeah. And you know what? If you look on the daily chart, what are you going to see? 630, Spencer.
Yeah, how many times have you said if it ever gets down to 630? Yeah, I gotta zoom way in here. So how many what is that? Is that 630 from today? That's no.
Not yesterday. Yesterday we went back down again. Yeah. And right back up there to 680s, 660s. I mean, 30 points for risking about 10 points is not a bad trade either. I mean, what I've noticed is that Tesla's been playing this range, right? I mean, you can clearly see it on the daily chart. It's been going down to 628, 630, bounce up. It goes up to like 670s, 690s, come back down. And then it's just been playing this game. We'll see if it finally breaks out through that $700 price point, which is what I expected. But I also noticed that the semi truck not coming out could be a drag. But I mean, you're seeing good news, and they also got a price rating upgrade, right?
This morning on Tesla.
It looks like a $750 price target.
I don't remember seeing that.
Maybe it came out during the day. I'm not sure.
Possible. I don't even remember seeing that. Oh, it was DZ Bank, boutique firm. Not
there. You go, lower name. Hey.
Yeah. Oh man, how AMD? Look at this thing. Okay, holy.
Yeah, semiconductors overall. It's not just only AMD. You know, there's a bunch that just took off today. But
no, so for a moment there, it dipped below 100. It broke 100, and then for a moment there, it dipped below it, and I was feeling a little bit unsure, like that red candle. No, not that red candle. This red candle, right? One of these candles, it dipped below 100, but then it held. So I said this morning, you want to see it close above 100. Well, we are gonna close above 100 here today, barring some ridiculous drop at the close. That's a great sign. Great sign for AMD.
Yeah, QCOM also monster day, 5.6% up. But man, what a big jump up on that one. I don't think anybody was talking about QCOM this last week, and what a move there.
I mean, they had earnings, and their earnings were good. And I'll give you the numbers. We didn't even talk about QCOM this morning on the show. I just go to the newsfeed here. You can see it right there. I'll zoom in for you so easier to read. But EPS beat, sales beat, guidance above estimates, EPS guidance and sales guidance above estimates. So strong report for QCOM. And yeah, I mean, there's the big old green candle looks so out of place. But there it is. We're next stop is probably somewhere in this gap area, right? That was from February on Qualcomm. That was earnings, I think. That gap down. Let me catch up on the chat and see what they're all watching. Bill Big D, yeah, Twilio. I'm watching that one as well. This one's going in the Benzinga ETF if we ever launch that, because Benzinga uses Twilio a bunch. Yeah, it's been so quiet, right?
My Discovery held the 30, man.
All right, well, we'll get there in a second. Twilio's been so quiet. It ripped higher, for the past 2 years.
The stock when I first started trading was $30. I still have those levels. Twilio.
Twilio?
$30 when I first started trading.
Yeah.
Ever.
This is one of those things where, like, I remember after this IPO'd, and I was, I don't know, we were talking about it or something, and then I decided that, like, what they did was too complicated, and I didn't want to take the time to understand it. And I was like, all right, this is just some tech thing I don't understand. And it wasn't until, like, months later that it became clear. Oh, they're just like technology that just enables you to send push notifications. But if I had realized at the time, I would have. I don't know. I just decided it was like too complicated for me, and I guess I just should have bought it then too. But I never did buy it, and I'm full of regret. How is Discovery doing for you today? DISSCA.
As long as we close above 30, I'm liking that chart. It's starting to turn around. We'll see if we can get into.
I'm liking that chart. Okay.
I'm liking that chart. You heard it right, Spencer. You heard it.
Well, you're long and strong, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm long and strong. Definitely. Yeah. I'm in it now.
All right. I did get stopped out of my Activision, for those wondering. I gave myself a little more wiggle room than I would have liked. But bad trade for me on this. I mean, not a bad trade per se. A losing trade, that doesn't make it a bad trade. But yeah, I'm out of that. So Mitch is in Discovery. Let me catch up on chat. Let's see what we're all watching here. Oh yeah, we didn't even talk PayPal this morning. The numbers were okay, right? The numbers were okay. It's held up today. Right, all the movement happened after hours. What was the open today? What did we open at? We opened at 285. All right, we're down $1 from the open, so we've held. Good sign. I guess guidance was a little bit light. Yeah, it says it right there. What was the company that was? It was iRobot. How did iRobot check out today? Oh man, I am very surprised to see this hold up. They missed earnings and gave light guidance, and yet. They were green for a moment. They were green for a moment today. So they're going to close down 2%, but that's misleading because from the open they ripped higher. So wow, that is a shocker for sure. Yeah, I'm also watching MasterCard. They had earnings. That was out this morning, right? Yeah, MasterCard was out. And they beat on their EPS. Everybody beats. That's why iRobot is so surprising, because everybody beats, right? So anyway, MasterCard beat. Are you in this? Who just mentioned MasterCard in chat? Whoever just mentioned that, I'd be curious to know what your cost basis is. Did I forget to mention Yum Brands? I may have forgotten to mention Yum Brands.
Yum's been.
Oh no, Yum was out this morning. Yum was out this morning. Yeah, how did Yum do? These restaurant stocks were all in uptrends.
Yep.
Monster
uptrend.
How are the numbers? Go to my news feed. Big beat on EPS, beat on sales. Cowen highlighted 2% underlying net restaurant growth is driven by KFC International. They see a healthier Pizza Hut brand compared to pre-COVID. And Habit Burgers, which I've never had, ready for domestic franchisee growth. So okay, it sounded okay. Again, I don't. This is the extent to which I've looked at. Let's see what the same store sales were. Okay, same store sales for Yum Brands up 23%. That's year over year. Who cares about that? Year over year is not relevant. I wonder how that compares to 2019. Okay, anyway, to the chart. Yum, still in an uptrend. All these restaurant stocks, not all of them actually, because didn't McDonald's? Yeah, McDonald's. Okay, came back a little bit, but Chipotle's held, right? Yum, appearing to hold.
Starbucks do. I know it got hit hard on their earnings.
Starbucks.
Just sideways.
Yeah, I'm long from I'm long from.
Yeah, you've been long this one for a while, man.
Remember, I think I'm long from the mid '80s. I don't really remember.
Yeah, you called this one good, Spencer. I remember that.
Stupid Starbucks. Anyway, how is? I haven't looked at Shaq for a hot second. Who just brought that up? Easy, Mike.
Shaq.
Yeah, you know what's funny is like this one could not. Let me go to weekly. This stock could not stop going up. For in 2018 and in 2020, this is a crazy stock, man. It basically, imagine buying this thing the end of 2018. So yeah, it spent basically most of the first 3 quarters of 2019 ripping higher, and then from September of 2019 to obviously the COVID low, you basically lost, we'll call it 70%, of your market cap. And then you went to new all-time highs after that. You got to new all-time highs in February. So this is a strange one. I've never understood the premium. I've never understood the valuation on this thing. I've never understood the multiple. What's the PE on this thing? We don't have it. What's the price? Price to sales of 7.4? Get out of here. Come on. That's so expensive. 7.4.
Go to BFI, bro.
Get out of here.
You don't need to spend $100 for the stock. Go to the other bigger stock.
Anyway.
Yeah, what Nick said.
I've never had
BFI, bro. BFI, bro.
Hey, you know what? You know what's going to go public next? I'm predicting is Wahlburgers. Wahlburgers is going to go public. I know nothing. I'm just predicting that.
They just won out.
Yeah.
Yeah, we both know that. Let's keep going. Let's do some ticker time. Let's just do stocks from the chart.
Yes.
I know Wing, we always buy the Wingstop, so I wouldn't be surprised that keeps ripping.
Wait, I want to look at Lending Club. Okay, Lending Club. Oh, kept going. Holy moly. Wing, how is Wing doing? Guys, if you don't know, Benzinga has single-handedly contributed to a decent portion of Wingstop's revenue in the last 2 quarters. The one I'm pretty sure we've kept the location near us open. Just our office has kept it open with our orders. They didn't report, did they? No.
No.
Wow. Wingstop. It's funny that you had is this a case of old resistance being new support? Because what was the all-time high there? You had a trio of highs.
Oof.
You had a bunch of highs. What's that? 170, and then you had a bunch of highs at the 170. Call it low 170s. Okay. What's the low of the day? 166. Tough to say.
Definitely trying to hold 170 now. I think if it hold 170, you're in the clear.
What's more important, profits or dollar printing? I assume that's referring to the Fed. Yeah, monetary easing is certainly the backdrop with which all of this exists right now, but none of these companies can control that.
Yeah, it's not their thing. Let's talk about Workhorse.
Why? What is it still higher?
Did you hear about the news?
No.
Come on, there's news, bro.
New CEO?
New CEO, bro. News.
Wait a minute. Steve Schrader. Oh, he was a CFO.
Yeah, I'm about to call him. I got him on LinkedIn. I'm gonna hit him up.
Can we get Steve? Do I have Steve's number still? I don't even know.
I'm gonna hit up Steve. Yeah, I'm gonna let him know and be like, we need to get you back on, man.
I don't even know if I have
You need to hear about the CEO.
I do not have Steve's number. Yeah, new CEO. No, probably. Okay. Well, the market seems to. I guess that was that pop. That was that green candle. I bet you. It was midday. Yeah.
You know it.
Yeah, that makes some sense.
Ford, baby. 4% day. Well, I didn't think they were going to be on earnings, to tell you the truth, but
I did not think so either. Okay, wait, what is the stock that Happy keeps talking about? What is this? MKTW? What is that? Market-wise? Right.
that's a SPAC, man.
That's why I don't know it. I don't know any of these post-SPAC, these de-SPAC companies. I can't keep them straight. Subscription services platform for financial research software. Okay, so they're in our sandbox a little bit. 41 million share float. Okay. I don't know why I've never heard of this one before. Wow, look at that move though. So when was the de-SPAC? That must have. Oh, this is a daily. So when was the de-SPAC? Was it a couple? Was it here? Was it the 21st or was it? Let's find out.
Usually I know. I don't know this one. I tell you that we haven't covered this one much. So
it just de-SPAC'd. Wait, like today? Happy? I'm just curious because there are not many SPAC charts that look like this.
Yeah, this looks like one of those ones that we've talked about that maybe the flow got lowered and it got that boost. Gonna have to do some research. Chris Ketchy, if you're out there.
Great, Chrisopedia, where you at? Someone just mentioned DraftKings and Penn. I know you're bullish on both.
Did you hear about the DraftKings news? They're starting to do.
We didn't even talk about that this morning. That was out this morning. What they're getting into the sports bar game?
Yeah, the sports bar game, bro. I thought it was a good move.
Makes so much sense. Right? Yeah, they're getting it. I mean, duh, right?
Yeah, I definitely think the games might change. I know you've mentioned this, Spencer, before, that DKNG might start being the leader versus Penn. I think you might actually start seeing that change happen. One of the things that I think DraftKings is doing very well in is starting to innovate and go into different areas. We know Penn is all on Barstool. I think that's their driver. But the question is really, does DraftKings become the leader here and kind of just take off first and then Penn follow?
Yeah. I mean, the restaurant, if this becomes a bigger part of the business and sort of changes the nature of the business, like you were saying, it's still so early though. Like when did DraftKings de-SPAC? Was it?
Oh, really early, man. This was
was it
June
fall?
Or July?
It was last summer.
Last summer. It was either June or July, one of those 2 months.
Still so early.
One of the things that I would say too is that, I mean, this did that run into August. That's what I'm looking for. If we don't get a run in August, then I don't think seasonality exists. But that's what we got last time. So,
well, actually, we had a run into October.
Yeah, August started the move, and then it started going into kind of October time. So that's what we're going to be looking for. We'll see if we get that reaction. That's what I've been looking for. Is it do sports matter so much to these stocks that they become seasonal? That's my big question. If we get our answer, and if the answer is yes, I'll make a lot of money. If the answer is no, I'll stop out. I'm not going to be mad.
All right, there's our bell. How did Didi hang out today? I want to look at Didi and Uber real fast. Didi ended up, a full round trip, but still closed up 11%. Wow. What about Baba? Baba barely in the green. And then I mentioned I want to look at Uber real fast. Uber, a little bit of body dip action happening across the board. I bet you FXI charts look the same. FXI and KWeb. All right. Yeah. I mean, it's like it's daily low. Now it's just a game of daily levels, right? You find a daily low, you hold on to that for dear life. Is kind of all you can do in all these things. Okay. That's going to be a wrap for the At the Close show today. Mitch, thanks for hanging out with me. I appreciate that. The Cannabis Hour is going live right now.
Boom.
Right here on youtube.com/Benzinga. Guys, if you haven't already, do us a solid favor. Take a split second out of your day and do that on the bottom. Smash the like. Thank you very much. Okay, that'll be a wrap. Cannabis Hour is next, followed by After Hours with Ryan Rose-Biani, followed by the Amazon earnings conference call live stream, followed by Chance Trades at 6, followed by a Benzinga Pro webinar tonight at 8 o'clock. Everyone have a good rest of your day. Stay green, stay filled. We'll see you tomorrow.
Guys, if you haven't yet, check out Cannabis Hour. I would think this would be a good time when we've seen a recent move in cannabis. So go check it out, guys.
Cannabis is moving. I retweeted someone this on Twitter today. I forget who, and they said, "Don't sell until the tickers have 4 letters." Right?
Think about that one. Think about that.
As in when they convert to the NASDAQ or NYSE. Anyway, okay. Cannabis Hour right now.